Hey everyone, sorry for the confusion with the old webinar link and the new one. We'll be waiting for people to start trickling in. Currently there are about 6 people, and I know that there were about 18 or so waiting. But we can start around 6:15, something like that. In the meantime, if you guys can just introduce yourselves in the chat, we'd love to hear from you. And all of that. I'm Nina. I'll reintroduce myself when more people have come in.
Yeah, I'm Leanne.
I'm Shardul.
Yeah. So, usually there's a little bit of a lag. So as you say something, then all the comments will start coming. So
give it a second.
Until then, we have to wait.
Sounds good. We can do that. Oh, got some more people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We can wait for a little bit while we wait for people. Hi, Darshana. No, we just muted ourselves. We didn't want to, awkwardly side talk, I guess. But hi, Effie, and hi, Darshana. It's really nice to meet you both. We can start in a little while.
I guess. Yeah. We can start.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. So we can start for real now. We introduced ourselves a little while ago, but we'll introduce ourselves in a bit. But welcome to our Super Saturday webinar. We've hosted this for quite a few Super Saturdays. And, this is our way of hopefully you guys getting to know us a little better. We always change it up a little bit every year. It's a two-way street. So, you get to really know us this Super Saturday, which is upcoming. And hopefully, we get to know you and what your passions are and what interests you. So we're excited to have you guys in the Boston office. I don't work in the Boston office, but typically the webinar is our way of getting the frequently asked questions out of the way. So usually it's stuff like what to wear, what's coming up in the skills exams, what to expect. But we've forwarded those frequently asked questions to you guys already. You should have them in your emails. If you have any other logistical questions or issues, then please feel free to contact us. Kathy is your point of contact. You should have her email by now. So we have 2 next jumpers with us today who want to share their experience. They're some of our newest hires, but more importantly, they are helping run our recruiting event, which is really exciting and really scary. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Okay, hi, this is Shardul. I am graduated from RIT this December, but before graduating, I was an intern at NxJ. I started my journey as a NxJ intern in January 2018. I worked here as an intern for almost 7 months. The journey was pretty beautiful. It was a very much a learning experience where I got to learn so many things, whether it was about learning about myself or whether it was learning about the tech stack. I worked on a React project, which was pretty cool to work here at NxJ while working as an intern. So that was pretty cool. And then this January 2019, I joined as a full-timer. I'm currently working as a Perks at Work engineer here at NxJ, and I'm from Boston office.
Nice. I'm Leanne. So I actually started my NxJ journey a year ago now. I was exactly in your shoes. I was at home, like on my bedroom floor with the webinar up, and I was like, oh my goodness, what to expect? I don't know. And I just graduated from Tufts University back in May of 2018. Started here in September. I am a business associate here. So I studied biopsychology and entrepreneurship at Tufts, and knew that I wanted to work for a company that had a really cool mission and was all about company culture and people. So decided to come to NxJ and see what I could learn from them. And it's been a really cool journey so far. So I am a account manager now here. And I also, on the side, have been putting some of my passions of health and wellness and people to use, and have joined one of our teams called FitNut, which is all about making the healthy choice the easy choice within the office. So like fitness, nutrition, stuff like that. And I love food and everything about it. And so it's really neat that I get to do that on the side while also learning some business acumen.
Yeah. Guys, you can start like whatever questions do you have. Feel free to ask questions like regarding Super Saturday. If there is anything on your mind regarding that, feel free to like start with the questions now.
Yeah, so usually there is a time gap, which we talked about, between us talking and you guys hearing us.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I can ask you guys a question.
Yeah, sure.
So what is the weirdest experience you've had at NxJ so far? Like a little fun thing to get the ball rolling.
I've got mine right off the top of my head.
Okay.
So I'm not much of a dancer. However, one thing that we do is we have an annual party where we have a dance competition. And I was thinking, we just kind of wiggle around on a dance floor or something. But no, we full on like dance practices, routines, costumes, everything. So I think that one took me a little bit by surprise. And I wouldn't say it's weird, but just the most unexpected thing. And I have to say now, I am a huge fan of dancing. So there we go.
Maybe we'll convert some of you guys.
Yeah, like I was also going to say about dance experience, but I'll stick to something else. Like we have our holiday parties, not the holiday party, sorry, the summer outing every year in the August. So one of the weirdest thing for me was like I participated in the pie eating competition. Like I had to insert my like whole face into the pie and like try to eat it. So that was like the most weirdest thing I have done here. So yeah.
Yeah, that was really funny. I remember like Shardul, not specifically Shardul, but all of these people with like whipped cream all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Totally.
All right, so we have some questions. We can start scrolling up, Leanne, if you could, please. So nice to meet all of you guys. Thank you for introducing yourselves. It's always super helpful. What's our first question? Okay, FA is wondering if you'd be willing to speak about a work project you found particularly engaging and most enjoyed working on. Okay, cool. I don't think we've missed anything else. It's just...
Yeah, I was just looking at some. Cool. Do you have a project comes to mind?
Yeah, sure. So one of the project that I was like pretty engaged about was like working on this sandbox app called as like the Learning Hub. So for me as an engineer, it was pretty intense, like to learn, and it was pretty cool to learn about like the React Native stuff, which I guess already spoke about. And like coming from that background, like I had never touched upon the mobile application part. So to learn about React Native, that was something really engaging. And one of the most interesting things that I found was I got a chance to work with the cross-office teams. Like, so one of the business associate was with me in the Boston office, and we were coordinating with two other people who work in the London office. So that was pretty cool to like work across the office, strategize about the project, and like keep it executing. So that was something really fun to work upon. Yeah.
So starting off with the client team as an account manager, I started really just working with some of our smallest clients and figuring out how to bring them onto the Perks at Work program. And right away, my team, my two managers said, hey, if you can make this process better, go for it. And in a few weeks, like, give us a little update of where you're going. And it was just really neat to be able to get their feedback and kind of understand, what are the actual root of the problems of this, of like launching new clients. And I ended up giving this presentation where I think it was less about like what tactically had been done and more about just like how we had been able to explore. And I think that just like opened my brain to a whole different way of like approaching these different situations. And so that was actually one that I was really passionate about.
Yeah, so we have another question from Toby from New York City.
Yeah.
Leanne, can you tell me more about FitNut in Boston?
Ooh.
I would love to talk about FitNut in Boston.
You got this.
Yeah. So I, at Tufts, rode crew. And so just health has always been something that is really important to me. And when I came in and heard about this FitNut team, I was like, well, I want on that one. And yeah, I came into the Super Saturday. I saw that they had hippies, the like chickpea snack. It's like, I'm sold. So I was working with some of the rest of the FitNut team here and kind of understanding, what's the intention of having this FitNut team, and really kind of what I mentioned is making the healthy choice the easy choice. So it's all about what are the foods that we're bringing in for dinner, what are the snacks that we have in the office, and how can you make them not only delicious and something that people would want to eat, but not detrimental to your health. So it's not pizza every night for dinner. It's not, Cheetos for snacks in the office. We have some fun like pop chips, like natural almonds, and it's all stuff that is tasty and still just not, you can't really overdo it as much with other.
Yeah, it's not just, just salads all the time.
No.
But it's not just salads.
Yeah. And so it's been really fun just to be able to like experiment with different foods there, and just kind of see what we like and keep it interesting. And then also on the fitness side, we have a little inter-office fitness competition where we encourage each other to work out twice a week. And so that's just a really neat way to, like, working out is a fun way for some people to de-stress. If you're not into working out, you can always play ping pong or something. And so that was just something that I thought was really neat, and I could talk about that for so long. So find me on Saturday and I'll talk your ear off.
Yeah. So Roshan, cool name, is asking, what are the engineering projects like for interns?
Oh, that's a really nice question. Like, I have been in that place. Like, I also had that thought on my mind, like, what would be the engineering projects that I'll be tackling as an intern? But like the first, the project that I was working on was like a rewards and recognition platform that we have. So it's basically a PHP based stack that we used for the Perks at Work. So it's a part of the Perks at Work platform. So that was something really cool to work upon, because I had this conception that or the misconception that as an intern, the projects that I'll be working on probably would be a side project, and my code, the code that I want to push, probably it wouldn't go live or something like that. But the cool fact and the cool thing about working on this project was like I was actually contributing towards the revenue work. So that was pretty cool. Then also I got a chance to work with the security team as well, to know and understand the specifics of how security is important for a particular platform, for a particular website. So I was working on a security team where we were developing a fraud tool. So that was pretty cool. Like I never imagined, to be honest, I had never had a prior experience of security, or looking how the users, who the users would be accessing the platform would look like. Would they be fraudsters or the genuine users? So that was pretty cool. It was like I was wearing the investigation hat and trying to understand that stuff, and eventually at the same time develop the code for the fraud tool. So that was pretty cool about it.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So let's go to Darshana's question. Hello, can you tell us about the Super Saturday event briefly? What's your elevator pitch for Super Saturday?
Oh man. My elevator, you did a pretty good one in the beginning too.
Oh, we could do it again.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
like double the people. No?
Yeah.
I think the biggest part for me to take away from your elevator pitch was that it's a two-way street. So we want to get to know more about you, and we also want to let you get to know more about us. So it's a day full of different interactions of different caliber, all designed to make sure that we're both able to learn more about each other.
Yeah, you will basically get a chance to like peep into what it is to be in the life of a next jumper. You'll see how like we like work at Next Jump, or how culture here at Next Jump is. So I feel that it would be a very cool experience for all of you to experience that stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
Exciting. So Toby was very enthusiastic about the hip piece. So we have plenty to talk about on Super Saturday.
Yes.
Find Leanne. She's really hard to miss. She's very tall.
I'm very, yes, yep. It's true.
Took the words right out of your mouth.
I did, yes. Self-described tall person, yeah.
So, hi Leanne. Would you be possible to hear a little bit about what to expect in the business sector?
Sure.
Without giving it away.
Yeah. Ooh. Tread lightly. Oh, goodness. So I think just generally nothing too crazy specific. I think more just we want to learn about how you would approach a problem and kind of your understanding of business interactions. And I'm so bad at being vague while also trying to give a productive answer. So I think the best that you can do is just bring the knowledge that you have to the table and be open to seeing how you can solve different problems.
So, also the best way to prep, make sure you're very hydrated. We have a lot of these water bottles around. We're not, advertising these, but we do have them. They have electrolytes and everything, right? They do.
Yeah, essentially it's a pH thing. Yeah.
But also get plenty of sleep. Everything your mom tells you, she's right for a reason. I've learned this as like an adult. Okay, so let's see. What was your biggest takeaway from Super Saturday, guys?
So for me particularly, like one of the things, like the biggest takeaway would be like when I walked into the Next Jump office, like I had my Super Saturday in New York office. So when I walked into the office, like one of the things like that touched me was there was this line at the top when I entered the office, and I saw, and like it just blew my mind. It was like, make a company that will make your mom and dad proud. So that was something I just got so much attached to that line. And then eventually to experience the whole day, the Next Jump culture, and also like to go around. That was pretty awesome. Like, yeah, the food was awesome on the Super Saturday. So that was pretty nice. But yeah, like culture, and also like to give the test, then the whole the process of Super Saturday, that was pretty exciting. And it was pretty refreshing to have this kind of like a recruiting process. So that was really interesting and exciting.
To piggyback off that, I think I just learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about like what I can learn from other people. I mean, just the amount of like learning, I'm going to way overuse that word. But I thought it was really interesting just to hear about people's like different journeys and experiences here, what they've been able to work on, how much like opportunity for growth there is. It just blew my mind. And I walked away from it knowing, like understanding a lot more about the company and what they stood for and what working here would be like. And I decided I really liked it. And so that was my biggest takeaway was that it was something that I wanted to be part of.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So we're still open for questions if you happen to have any. In the meantime, what did you guys learn about yourselves, like in your time here so far at Next Jump? Like in the first, like almost exactly a year. Like this time last year, you were in our candidate's shoes.
Yeah.
I have to think on that one, just to narrow it down, make it more concise.
By the way, taking pauses in your interview process, thinking about the questions, also perfectly fine. A little tip for you guys on the other side.
Yeah. So like I'll go with that one then. So one of my biggest like learning experience like at like through my journey at NxJ was like the personal growth that I got here at NxJ. Just to look into myself and like trying to giving this opportunity to not only develop yourself on the technical front, like me being an engineer, but also internally as a person, as a human, how I can help others and like how as a team we can build a thing that is like really helping others. So that was like one of the biggest learning for me, and like just to like introspect myself internally, how I can grow and eventually contribute to the team. That really helped me, not only like personally but also on the technical front, because when I started, to be honest, like I didn't have like a prior work experience. So I was like just starting freshly, like this was my first corporate job, so I was starting fresh. So just to get such a learning experience on the personal side as well as on the technical side, that was really cool. And like again, like just like one of the things that I always say is like I got to go like during my internship as well. I got a chance to push my code live, and like I really contributed to the revenue. So that was pretty intense, like for me, and like it was pretty nice. It felt good. Yeah.
And it's funny to me here, like I know your story and I know that bit, but even just like you came from like an academic background of like learning, right?
Yeah.
But then coming here is just like a whole different
experience.
Ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like,
Yeah. So before we kind of wrap up the webinar, I guess, people don't have as much questions. So if you guys have any, please, send them our way. Oh, just kidding.
Oh,
I was literally like proven wrong immediately.
but they're all coming on
questions. Okay, so Effie says, would any of you be able to speak about how you've overcome any challenges that come with collaborating cross-functionally with other teams and offices? Good question.
Teams and offices. Okay. So I can jump into that one. So like, since like one of the challenges that, to be honest, like I had like working with the cross office teams was like it was like the time zone, like the UK were always like 5 years ahead of us. So that was the challenge. But again, like just to catch up with them and like to strategize, just being in the different offices, it was challenging at first, but eventually, again, that was a learning experience, like to know, like even if the person is the team that you're working with, if they are not in the person, and if you want to like collaborate with them. So that was really a nice experience that I had, like to collaborate cross office. So yeah, like for me, that was kind of challenging, but yeah. Leanne, you have any challenges like you had like working with cross office teams?
I think the cool thing is that there's enough of a culture that the two, especially Boston and New York, there's so much collaboration within the two offices that the learning curve for cross office collaboration is pretty steep. And so we like frequent Zoom meetings, like Slack, pretty active, just to be able to keep up to date, having like company-wide meetings and everything frequently. So we're always on the same page. So there's never a time where I feel like I don't know what's happening in New York, and that it wouldn't be easy to communicate across the two.
Yeah.
And I think that's something to kind of interject is that culture initiatives are a thing. At NxJ, they help you kind of practice on your backhand, which we can talk about more a little later, or now if people end up being interested. But essentially, people can also collaborate cross office. FitNet, for example, you can collaborate with New York in order to have that, and also UK has its own sort of like FitNet little module, and the same thing can be applied for like other cultural initiatives that we have. So recruiting, for example.
Yep.
So yeah. What is the most challenging aspect about working at NxJ according to you guys?
I think remembering that it's okay to fail, which is such a funny thing to say out loud, now that I'm saying it, but it's just a really cool and like supportive and safe environment where if you make a mistake, others are going to help you and help you learn from it and help you get better. And from my perspective, sometimes I just want to be like polished out front. And so they're like, no, I don't want to fail because then they're going to think poorly of me or whatever it is. But sometimes failure helps you learn faster, helps you get better faster. And so I think that has been when first starting, that was definitely something that was like harder to get used to, but something now that I'm really, really thankful for.
Yeah. I agree with Leanne on that part, like how like failure can help you learn. And this is something where here, like you get an opportunity, like it's okay if you are going through a struggle. And to be honest, like even during my intern journey, there were phases where I was struggling because there were a lot of new things on the plate and I was not sometimes able to cope up with that. But the culture that we have here, it was so intriguing and it was so nice to see that like people are accepting it and like they are giving you a chance and they are helping you grow here. So that was something nice that I really liked about NxJ.
Yeah, very cool. So I guess we can loop two questions from Harsh and Harsh.
Yeah.
Both of them from Harsh together. So is the Super Saturday event exclusively for interns, or do we have full-time seekers attending as well? And how many intern positions are open?
Is it software engineering? Okay.
Yeah, software engineering.
Yeah.
No, it's for both full-time and intern positions. So one thing that I think is pretty neat is that interns and full-time all go through the same process. So it's the same level of investment. We want to get to know you, whether you're coming as an intern or full-time, just the same amount. As Shardul was saying, like interns have just as much ownership here. They're able to push their own code, work on their own projects. So definitely both.
Yeah.
And one of the neatest things that I think about Super Saturday is we don't sort of have a set number of slots open. It's not, a minimum quota or a maximum quota that we're trying to fill. Instead, our goal is really to find you guys, get to know you guys, and really see if you guys are a good fit, if you like thrive here at NxJ or not. And that means kind of, exactly like not having any slots to think of. We just want to see if like you'll be a good part of our family, and we want to get to know you guys.
Yeah.
And Ankita is asking, I want to know, how does business associate interns contribute to the projects? Which would be great if we had business associate interns.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is like you have just as much ownership as an engineering intern would. So for instance, if you were interested in joining like the client team, you would just come right on to our team. You definitely have some responsibilities like client management and projects of your own. It would depend on the team that you join, because we do have various business teams to run the business. But it's definitely the same level of ownership as you would with engineering.
Okay. Thank you guys very much. Oh, and one thing that I remembered we have a couple of business interns last year with us. But I think the projects definitely, you can make of it what you want. We take your interests, we take your passions into account. So if we think that like you can tackle a project that you're particularly interested in, then by all means we'll go for it. And you'll learn more about the experiences and the specific teams at NxJ when you get to the Boston office on Super Saturday. So, is there some freedom regarding which office you can work at, or will all interns be working in the Boston office?
You have the freedom to choose which office you want to work at. So there's nothing specific that all of you would be working in the Boston office. If you want to want to select like the New York office, you will be given the chance to work in the New York office as well.
Yep. People can choose which locations they work in line with the biz needs.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we have like a greater concentration of people in Boston and in New York. So interns will probably only get the choice of those two locations.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like your preference and location is something that we take into account.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're wrapping up. And I guess, Leanne, Shardul, is there any last things you want to tell our candidates before they see you in person Saturday? Not tomorrow, Saturday.
But tomorrow there's a pre-party.
Tomorrow there's a pre-party.
Yeah.
So, doing a little plug, we have a pre-party at
Yeah.
Flat Top Johnny's, which you can find on Google Maps,
Yeah.
at some time that is in your email that I
Yeah.
can't quite remember.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Thanks, Lynn.
See you this time
Yeah,
tomorrow.
6 p.m. tomorrow.
And the cool thing about that is Flat Top Johnny's is actually downstairs in our building. So if you Google Flat Top Johnny's and make it to Flat Top Johnny's, you are 99% of the way there for
Say
finding
that
your way
20
on
times
Saturday.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, it will be a cool chance, like just to interact with next jumpers, talk with them, have fun, chat with them, just relax before the Super Saturday. Like it is going to be like one of the important days, like your hiring event. So make sure you relax, have good sleep, drink lots of water, and hope to see you all on Super Saturday.
And be yourself.
Yeah, and be
Yeah,
yourself.
be yourself.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So, thank all of you guys for, talking to us and like introducing yourselves.
Mhm.
It was such a pleasure to get to know you. And we'll see you on Friday and Saturday. And all
Yeah.
that.
It's happening. I'm so excited to meet everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see you guys soon. Have safe flights till Boston.
And the
Oh, haha, this is me.
and then